Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool amateur repair time video for you this evening. So if you haven't been following along, I've been messing around with some radios and some clocks and some record players. And I don't really know what I'm doing. That's why I call it amateur repair time. So when I work on pinball machines, arcade games, jukeboxes, I kind of know what I'm doing. And so we always get all these comments where people think that, I'm a genius or something, where I just know so much. Not really. I just have learned over the years by working on things that I've broken, and then I kind of figure it out as I go along, right? So these radios, I don't know what I'm doing. I've watched repair videos, other people doing them. I have a basic, very, very basic knowledge of electronics. And, of course, I work on arcade games, jukeboxes, and pinball machines, and are able to get them going. But I really like these old radios, so I'd like to learn how to do that. So on this video, as an amateur, we're going to see if we can fix this thing. Now, I've got all kinds of radios. This is just a small sample of the radios that I have. I've got them all over the place, people. Look, I've got a bunch. Well, I've got them everywhere. And none of them work. So we got to get this one to work. I did get that record player to work. If you saw that video, I got it to go. So I can play records. But I don't have a working radio. So let's see if we can work on this one. Now, I own a bunch of them. So I'm going to do some videos fixing them up. If I see an old cool radio, I pick it up. This particular one, I bought on eBay a while back. I try not to even go on eBay because I'll always see something on there that I want, right? So I just don't go on there because I'll end up with a bunch of them. Now, if I start fixing a whole bunch of these, then I'll go on there and buy some more. But this is a General Electric, I think it's supposed to say Musiphone. Musiphone. I believe it was made by GE. Yeah, look. General Electric. Cool little radio. I think I paid $27 for it or something like that, shipped. But it doesn't work. And the cord has been cut off of it, right? So we're going to have to take it apart, see what the chassis looks like, and then I'll see if I can we'll work through it. I've got a bunch of capacitors and stuff. I ought to be able to do that, right? Now, what I would like to do is get the thing working before I do a cap kit on it. And you might say, well, why would you do that? Because one of my favorite radio repair guys is the Mighty Shango. The Mighty Shango has said that several times. The Shangster says that, you should learn how to fix the thing first and then do a cap kit on it, because if you just do a cap kit on it, you might introduce another problem into it. Now, I'm pretty good at cap kits on monitors, arcade monitors and stuff like that, and I can solder fairly decent. I have a good understanding of that. But he's got a good point. I would prefer to test the things and figure out what in the world's wrong with it before I do a blanket cap kit. I would prefer to do that. But I don't really know what I'm doing, right? So I don't know if that's going to be completely possible, but maybe we'll attempt it. So let me turn it around. Let's look in the back of it, and then we can see what kind of shape this sucker's in. So the cord, someone has taped another cord on there. I've got some cords, so I'll put a new one on it. The grommet's cracked, but it ain't that bad. Oh, and by the way, I'm not the type where I'm trying to make it look brand new or anything. I just want it to play. I guess this is the antenna bar. I've never really had one that had an antenna bar. Feels kind of loose in there. I don't know, folks. Okay, so let me take these off and we can look in a little further. All right. Let's see here. Now, you're going to have to accept my apology here. You're not going to believe this. The only 1/4 inch I can find close at hand is from China. I have a American-made radio, a Japanese-made tripod stand, a American-made tripod mount for my phone, and a Chinese 1/4 inch. But that's okay. I'll throw it away soon and get me a nice good one. I probably have one here somewhere. I just didn't want to, spend too much time looking for it. Into the vault we go. Into the vault we go. Let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, boy, that's gnarly there. Look at that. Oh, hell yeah, that's how it's supposed to be for sure. What in the world are they doing to me? What were they thinking? Good God. It says it didn't. They said it didn't work. Yeah, no wonder. Come on, people. Come on now. Come on now, people. That's not how it's supposed to be does. I mean, all of these I've seen, and again, I don't know what I'm doing, but all these I've seen disconnect. So I don't know what's going on here. We're going to have to get some schematics. Like, why have we got this, right? This looks like it should go to something. Let me look inside of it. Yeah, there's an antenna that runs all the way down. Something wrong somewhere, but we'll figure it out. It'll all be gravy, baby. Okay, so that's that. Oh, look at the little... Good God. What the? You see this, right? What are they doing? What have they done to us? Okay, and it's these cans that I have heard everybody say that these are the ones that get the silver mica gonorrhea. That's right, folks. My channel's going to be a little different. Okay. Well, why in the world would you need to disconnect the speaker to get the freaking chassis out? That doesn't make any sense. This also doesn't unplug. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, we have partially disassembled it. We're getting somewhere now, folks. It's all been taped together. Come on now. That's not how you're supposed to do it. Come on now. Don't do that, people. Not even once. Okay, before I get any farther, I'm going to go print out the schematics. It may show me on the schematics what's supposed to unplug and all of that, right? Let's see. Before I get that, I want to show you what I'm talking about on the tripod. So I've got this old Japanese tripod here that I bought at a thrift store for $3, right? And look at this cool little mount here. So this screws on just a standard tripod mount. And it has these little arms that are adjustable. So I'm just filming this on my iPhone. It has these little arms that are adjustable, right? So me being the type of person that I am, I looked around for this. So it comes with these two little Allen wrenches. But here's what's so cool about it. It's made in the United States. It's actually made here in South Carolina. It's called the PED 5H iPhone tripod mount. Now, these people have not paid me for this. They don't know me from Adam. There's your instructions. You can scan that if you want, if you're high tech. I'm not. The name of the company is thoughtout.biz. Okay. So they make stands for things, you know, the best high quality, made in the USA. So that's why I bought it, because I thought, hey, I don't want to get. So I went on eBay, and they had these little things like this that you mount your iPhone on to do just this. Every freaking one of them was from China. Now, I thought it would be a shame to work on these beautiful old American radios with a freaking tripod mount from China. I don't want to do it. Now, the phone's from China, but I can't help that. So this is the company. It's a very nice design. I haven't had any problems with it. I've only used it a little bit. But, and I'll tell you, after I bought it, they emailed me personally, like one of the owners or something, emailed me and said, hey, just checking in to see if you had any issues with your tripod mount. I wanted to see what you thought about it. So they seem like a really cool company, and it's, like I said, it's South Carolina. It's probably, I don't know how they're manufacturing. Is it just 3D printed or something? Kind of looks like it might be. But it's nice quality, and it's doing exactly what I need it to do. So maybe check them out. Why don't you? Thoughtout.biz. Now, it was a little more expensive than the Chinese one, but it wasn't crazy. So, yeah, let me get the schematics. So after looking at it closer, it actually does have removable leads on it, on the speaker. So that's all good. That's how it's supposed to be. So looking at the schematic here, I discovered something. Okay, so there is the speaker, and you can see that it shows that it disconnects, which makes sense. Remember, I told you I don't know what I'm doing. And then over here is the antenna, I suppose. And it doesn't show that it's disconnectable. So I would assume it's soldered in. But then I started thinking about it. I took that off. I'm not really supposed to take that off. Like, it stays on the chassis. That's why it's a little smaller. So I can slide the whole thing out. Come on, people. You should have told. Why didn't you tell me that? You sat right there and watched me take the thing off when I didn't need to take. Why would you do? So I got to turn it up. We got to take the screws out of the bottom, I think. That's more like it. There we go. Look, this one has a washer. The two on the back have a washer. Somebody remember that. There will be a quiz later. I'm going to guess these are not the original screws. Trying to hold it so I don't crash it into the speaker. I see an extra piece of plastic. Bakelite, whatever. It's all good, people. All right. We've got to be careful. We have to be very careful. I don't want to break it. Okay. Oh no. What the world? We have something inside of it. Oh, it's a candy wrapper. Oh, there's the piece of the Bakelite. Look, I can glue it back. I thought it was like some kind of Christmas paper. Let's see how old that is. I'm checking it out here. It says Sam's Cola. What in the world? Sam's Cola, but it looks like it's like a candy wrapper. Okay. Well, we got the chassis out. Well, I see something I like and I see something I don't like. First, it's never been touched, so I like that. So it's not super hacked or anything. But the sockets, well, I don't know. Yeah, there's crap all over this too. It feels like somebody sprayed WD-40 in it or something. But the sockets, I've never seen that type before. But then again, I haven't seen that many of them. Oh, I guess it's all right. So you've got there's like a PCB and the wires connect to these instead of directly to the, I don't know, this looks kind of like a cheap socket to me, but pretty cool. Nobody's messed with it. So I think I'm going to get rid of the across the line cap first, just in case it tries to blow up on me. And we'll go from there. So let's look at the schematics, shall we? Shall we? So it's a GE 475. We've got these from radiomuseum.org, of course. So here is our AC coming in, one line straight to ground. And one line over here, the switch is also on the ground, but I think they did that on most of these because they wanted to keep noise out of the volume control, right? So that's kind of a thing. Normally you would want the switch on whatever is not going to be the neutral, you know. We're going to put a different plug on it, which will be polarized, so it'll only plug in one way. Not necessarily because I'm super concerned about that. I know a lot of people are. I'm not all that squeamish about it, but because I bought new plugs, and that's what they are. They're polarized. So we'll wire that up right. So we'll run the neutral to ground, but the switch is on the neutral. So that means that the chassis is going to have, the hot doesn't get switched off, basically. Not the end of the world, though, because it only runs to there. Okay, so one side connects straight to chassis ground. Well, they're calling it B-. And the other side has a capacitor running between it and ground. So that cap there is right across the two AC lines, basically. So if that thing shorts, it's going to be explosive. People think that, like, if that shorts, it'll kill you and all that. It's not that. You've already got power on the chassis, you know. It's if that thing shorts, you're shorting your two wires together on the AC. It could burn your house down if it doesn't trip the breaker. It'll at least burn this radio up and whatever it's sitting on, like this, my beautiful desk here. And the only reason they really put that in, I believe, is because it gets rid of some interference. So if you cut that out, it'll still work, but it'll have interference. We'll put a new one in, but if we're going to try to test it without replacing all the caps first, we need to get rid of that one for show. Okay, and so I guess that runs over here to this 35W4, which is going to be your rectifier tube. So that's going to turn the AC into DC. And it's a string set, of course. So AC is going into pin 4 and then out pin 3. And then into pin 4 and out pin 3 of all the other ones. And 35 volts, 85 volts, 97 volts, 109 volts, 121 volts would do it. Okay, so that makes sense. So the only thing on this side of it is the light bulb and that cap that's across both. So then it goes through the rectifier. Well, then all of the string of tubes, I guess. Then it goes through the rectifier and on it goes. So we've got a 100 microfarad capacitor there. So it's 125 volts, and then it runs through a resistor. I wonder if that drops it down. You would think it would. I think this is just a pretty standard. Oh, look. Look. It's a couplet. How fancy. I think. Maybe. All right. So, yeah, we got to get rid of a bunch of these wax caps eventually. But it'd be fun to try to power it up with the original ones in it. Maybe I'll test them to see if any of them are shorted, and then we'll try to fire it up. I've got a Variac over there. If I could get some kind of way to test the amperage, we could try it. I ain't scared. I ain't afraid, people. All right, so we need to find our across the filter cap, or across the line cap. So the line comes in here. And one side is connected to there. It looks like that cap is connected to there. And then the other side of the line connects over to the switch. Oh yeah, that's the ground port. Okay, yep, so that's the ground. So this is our hot here. Well, I'm calling it hot. You get what I'm saying. So that's that. And then this is the wire running over to the light bulb. So it must be that cap. Let's see what that says that cap is. Ooh, it's grimy. We're grimy, people. By the way, I'm just taking it slow, folks. This is fun to me. If you, oh, look! It's already exploded on us. 0.047, 630 volt DC. I believe that is the one. It appears that way. That must be C11. So we're just going to get rid of that sucker. That'd be first. I forgot to mention to you, there was a case on the bottom of it. What's 500 volt? So it's exactly what the schematic said. And that is a, I don't know who made that. All of this stuff is sticky, icky, like greasy. See all the residue? Man, they might have put WD-40 in this sucker. I think this is my couplet here. I'm going to call it a couplet, people, because it's fancy. So that's the beginning of your integrated circuits, which is just, it looks like 2 capacitors. I don't even know why they would do that, but they put 2 capacitors in the little thing just to be fancy. All right, so we got rid of that one. Okay, I'm gonna check the other ones that I can get to and just see if any of them are like already shorted. Okay, folks, so again, I don't know what I'm doing. So I've been going over the schematics for about 30 minutes, just trying to identify, you know, all of the parts. The tuning condenser, this coil here, just trying to figure out the layout so I can learn a little bit. And using a multimeter, now this isn't the best way to do this, but basically I'm just trying to see if any of the caps are just completely shorted. So I checked the 2 electrolytic caps, they're not shorted yet. I checked all these paper wax ones. None of them are dead shorts. There was one over here that I thought was. So I cut it out, and it wasn't shorted. Basically, it has something to do with the volume control. But this it's just a strange setup. I've never seen anything like this, which I guess makes sense because it's old. So there is a on-off switch on the volume control, which is this actually. Pretty cool. And it works. I checked, and you've got continuity when it's open, and it's no continuity when it's in. And then it turns. So apparently that is a volume. But this one, look at this. You're going to love this. I mean, I'm sure if you know about this stuff, you've probably seen this 100 times, but there is a switch in the middle of this one. So you turn it, and then there's a switch, and you turn it the rest of the way. So if it's this way, it's for the record player. And then if it's this way, it's for the radio. So I don't know. Very strange. And this is the tuning one. My string is pretty screwed up. So that is this one, I believe. No, that's the wrong one. That is this one. This is what they call a volume control. So this on-off switch on volume control, it's not on the volume control. It's not on that one. It's on this one. Well, this to me is represented as like an on-off switch, like a slider, but it's not. It's a turning one. That's the volume now. And so you have these lines coming off of it, white, green, and yellow. And they run up to this little board that had 3 capacitors on it. I cut one of them off. I'll put a new one on it. And by the way, I'm going to replace all these caps. I'm going to try to fire the thing up with the old caps just to see if it what it does. And my whole plan is I'm just trying to learn. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get it to work with the old crap. If you just put new caps in it, you're not going to learn anything about caps, right? That's how I see it. So I want to see how it sounds with the old crappy caps in it, or if it'll even do anything, or if something starts smoking, or if it burns up the output tube or something. So I'm trying to learn here. So if you follow this, it does match the schematics, but that's a rotary pot. It just seems weird to me. So one of the wires appears to be grounded. Well, B minus, not ground. Going to B minus. Another one goes through. That's the cap that I cut out. So it tested like 15 ohms in circuit, but out of circuit it's not shorted, and the circuit still tests 15 ohms. So it has something to do with this potentiometer here. So I don't know. So I'm going to put a new one back in, and then we're about ready to carefully fire it up and see if it does anything. Now, the antenna, I don't completely understand either. This end, nothing's connected to it, but it doesn't look like anything ever was connected to it. So I don't know what the deal is with that. That may just be they've got the wire wrapped around it, and that's just where it was soldered, and you're not supposed to put a wire there. I don't know. Again, people, we're learning, okay? Now this end, that seems to have went there. And if I look on the schematics, that seems correct as well. Okay, and you've got this, which is connecting to the chassis, I think, somewhere. You've got this little bad boy down here. I don't know what the hell that is. No, I'm wrong. It's not connected to the chassis. It's connected. Yeah, okay. So this is connecting to tuning cap there, or that's what I'm calling it. And then a wire comes off of it. This is actually a blue wire. A wire comes off of it and goes to one of the pins on this tube. So that is this. So that blue wire is coming off there. This is where it's hitting the one tuning cap, I guess, and then running to the tube. So that's one of the wires. And then one of the other wires is this other blue one. And if it were to attach there to the frame of this, right, that tuning cap is actually isolated from the chassis. It looks like it's just sitting on the chassis, but it's not. See how it's not touching it? So that's this connection. It's hitting this side of both of those, and then it's coming down. And then you've got it going here and blah, blah, blah. So that blue wire is like basically that connection there. And then the other parts of the tuning cap, or whatever it's called, are these two wires, these two white wires here. And they are running through the board to this coil, I'm calling it, and this coil, I'm calling it. But I'm sure those have better names like oscillators or inductors or something. We'll figure it out. So that's what you've got going on there. If I don't break the thing messing with it. Yeah, so I think I've got it I'm getting it a little bit in my head. So my whole point is, this wire appears to go there. Now, this wire is the wire that's hanging out the back. So I think that's just kind of like, it's supposed to be for an external antenna or something. That's my guess. There may have been a wire over here that was for the same thing. I don't know. But yeah, so I need to solder that back on. I need to replace that cap I cut out. I don't have a safety cap for the across the line cap, so I'm just going to wait on it for a while. But I know they'll work without that. It'll just have some feedback in it, some hum or something. So we can try to fire it up without that. And of course, I'll have to hook the speaker back up. But yeah, with the speaker mounted in the cabinet, they made that where it's kind of hard to work on the thing if it's turned on. But whatever. We've probably got that mica crap in the caps. I mean, in the transformers there. Oh, look at it. I can see them. Look, they're in there. You see it? Oh boy. All right, let me pop a new cap in there and fix that antenna wire. Cap installed. That little board came out and has these little wells basically that fill up with solder. Easy peasy. All right, I'm wrong about the antenna, I think. So just to see if the antenna was connected, I checked continuity between here and here because that was still hooked up, and it was a dead short. And then if you look really close, the wire that is running to, now notice that all this has been messed with too, right? Either I did it in my sleep or whoever had this before me knew even less about it than I do. So one side of this is connected to this tuning condenser, right? and it's this green wire here. Okay, so the green wire, see how this is all been messed with? The green wire is right there. It is actually attached to the leg of the antenna, right? But it's not attached to the wire of the antenna. The wire of the antenna is actually that. It's hard to see it. Yeah, there it is. That's the actual antenna. This is just the bracket, like the actual tube, okay? And so this wire that's sticking out if you look, it runs all the way down to the other end. I wonder if it will let me zoom. Nope, we're not going to be able to get past that. See it wrapped around the top down there? I know it's not focused, but... So... this wire is actually connected to that end, right? So I think this is one end of the antenna, and this is the other end of the antenna. Okay, so then there's another wire here, which is this red one that they have going down to the chassis. It's hooked to a green wire which is connected to this metal piece on the back. So that is connected to the chassis, which kind of makes sense. So I think they've been screwing around with all of this and have it all messed up. So the way I could tell, so if I check between this wire and that wire, which is the antenna mount, it's a dead short, but I think it's because it's the wrong one. So I'm going to check between this wire, which I believe goes to there, and this wire, and see if that's a short. Well, I don't know, folks. They both test as a short, so I just went ahead and put the green one, which looked like it at one point had been there. I think there's probably no way the front end's going to work on this thing, because I think we've got antenna problems. So I'll probably have to eventually just take that whole thing off and take it apart and figure it out. But I think I'm about ready to try to plug it in. So I'm going to test the cord and see if there's a short on it, the old cord. And then I'm going to plug it into that variac over there and just turn it up a little bit. I need to rig up a thing where I can check the amps while I do that, just to see if anything shorts or whatever. But we'll just do the old-fashioned smoke test with the variac. All right. This thing doesn't have a transformer, so, well, I mean, it does, the output transformer, but it doesn't have, it's not a transformer radio, so I'm not too concerned about burning stuff up. If we burn up tubes, I might know where there's a whole bunch more. Right, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, folks, this might be explosive. So we're plugged up. So I've got a variac plugged in. We're on 0 volts right now. So we're going to set it up to like 40 for now, right? think that's phono to the left and radio to the right. I have no clue if we've got anything going because the light bulb doesn't even work. We may not even have power. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it up a little more. Nothing. I've got a little issue where okay, so we've at least got amplification. Sounds like crap, but oh yeah, the light is barely working. Yeah, there's no front end at all, so I don't have the antenna right at least. May be the volume there, and it's just very, there's hardly any adjustment to it. It just may be how it is. Serious antenna problems, people. All right. So I think what I need to do is find some pictures of someone else's online and see how they hooked up their antenna. And then I want to go through it. If I can get it to do anything, I mean, we still might have, you know, bad tubes, bad resistors, all kinds of stuff. But if I can get it to do, to tune in anything, I'd like to do that before I replace the caps, because I'm trying to see, I want to learn what each cap does, you know, like, so you replace this one and it makes this better, you replace this one and it makes this better. Not because there's ever going to be a time when I only replace a couple caps, but because I'd like to just learn how the different sections are working. I've read about it a lot, and I've watched other people's videos and stuff, so I know a little bit about it, but you know, you learn more by breaking stuff than you do by reading stuff, in my opinion. That's how I learn, at least. So I think we'll stop it there. I at least turned her on. I'll bet it did that though before I mean, I didn't fix anything, obviously. I bet if I would have plugged it in from the beginning, it would have done the same thing. But I'm working through it, folks. I'm trying to learn a little bit. So, hey, we got the light bulb to come on. So I won't upload this video until I get this thing working. So if you're seeing this video, it's because I've already fixed it. And so the next video you see will be the rest of this. Now, how could I possibly know that ahead of time? It's because I'll just sit here and keep the video and never upload it unless I fix the thing. So if I uploaded it, you can bet I must have fixed it or I wouldn't upload the video. Not that I don't want people to see me not fixing something, but because I like whenever the videos have a good resolution, right? And this one doesn't because I didn't fix it or anything yet, but it takes a little while and I'm learning. So leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think, especially about the antenna. I don't think I got that right at all. I got to go learn about how those bar antennas work. So leave your comments below and let me know what you think. Make sure to check out my brother Donnie. My brother has his own channel here on YouTube. He doesn't work on arcade games, pinball machines, jukeboxes, or old radios or record players, but he works on old buildings and old vehicles and things like that. He has a farm, and I'm over there with him on those videos a lot of the time. So I'll see you over there, but I'll see you back here in a day or two with a arcade or pinball machine video. See you then.